your side, Trey, but this is a very interesting look for you. Uh, now we're being sponsored by Exploit Broadcaster, the program that we don't
I can't
use.
help it.
It's
That
okay.
can't happen.
We can just have it with
Okay.
we can have it
I
without
don't
your
even know what's
face,
going on.
or
Wait,
you
we
can
are
try to
being
figure it out.
sponsored. We are being sponsored by XSplit.
No, I wish. I don't
I don't know
I
why
was
this
about
is
to say,
happening.
how do you manage
I'm going to
that?
stop.
know.
Maybe your input is not the right input.
Somebody, I think your microphone is not. Yeah,
Mine?
and now I'm getting some feedback. Yeah, I think your microphone is actually doing something off your webcam.
Who, what?
I think Miguel, because I can hear the rest of his room or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making it up. So this humble jumble.
How about now?
Now you're really loud, but yeah, it's definitely your microphone now.
I mean, but is it
Yes,
better?
it's better. You're better now. That's cool. Yeah, this mess that
It's
is
gotta be
the
an
goo.
option. Oh,
Did you figure it out?
yeah.
Hey, there we go.
Is it what I said it was?
That's cool. I'm glad that all worked out. Oh, and hey, look, Michael's back in chat. Anyways, this is a podcast, or it likes to pretend to be sometimes. Welcome everybody to episode 9.
I am hideous.
Yeah, you just look at yourself over and over. That you can turn off your camera if you want. We don't need to see you anymore. Anyways, I'm your host, Kevin Harrison. With me, I've got this people trying to figure out how web cameras work.
How does web cameras even does?
I don't use them very often.
We've got a new one, and it's weird right now for you, Miguel, because we can see the back of your room, and like there's this disembodied arm off the right side of your camera. When
It's Michael. It's Michael playing Fallout 3.
I know.
He's also wearing underwear.
I should hope so. Okay. Anyway, okay. I'm Kevin Harrison. We've got regular co-host with us.
Hey, Trey, if you quit here.
How you doing, Trey?
I'm alright. How's everybody else?
I'm alright. I just tweeted that we're live.
That's cool. Oh, we're actually using like the Twitter account now and everything.
I'm trying to. I mean, we set it up. We better use it.
Is it? Yeah, that would be good.
That follow.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. Trey, and then other regular guest with us.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah,
I'm a regular. I graduated.
Yeah.
I'm a regular guest now. I'm Miguel Torres.
How are you doing?
Miguel.
Hey, I'm doing fabulously.
And special guest with us tonight. Why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Jonathan Mills. I guess I am the special guest now. You got upgraded. I'm now the special guest. I'm taking over your spot, huh?
All right, intern. I have paperwork for you to do.
So, John, who are you and what do you do?
Who am I? That's a long story.
Oh,
I mean, you give us like the cliff notes or something like that.
spare no detail.
Well, I'm just a gamer. I'm in the esports club here. I'm not a part-time streamer. I don't want to say it's like a job or anything, but I stream every so often. I just play games, man. That's what I do.
Nice. Well, thanks for joining us here tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're sort of like in the throes of all the like big stuff going on in the fall right now. But before we get to like the new stuff, especially the stuff going on with like TGS, what's everybody been playing so far? Like John, what are you in the middle of?
Oh man. Well, when I actually have the time, I've got Taken King just came out yesterday, so I've been playing that a lot. I hit 40 on the first day, but I haven't really been able to touch it since then. And other than that, occasionally Metal Gear Solid and World Wars 2. So.
Cool. Miguel, how about yourself?
I've just been playing a bunch of HOTS. Actually,
Hots,
not even that much. I had 3 days worth of quests. I don't know. School's taking up some time.
Mm-hmm.
There's that. But I also got Destiny: The Taken King. But I am taking my time getting through the content I had not completed.
Taking your time, okay.
Yeah, like I still haven't done The Dark Below, and I'm getting through that, and I just realized that there's only 4 chapters to it.
Yeah, actually, you just finished it yesterday.
No,
if you don't count the raid.
Yeah, well, I had to kill that woman.
Oh, Omnigul? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a strike. You do that. It's easily the most annoying strike in that game.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm surprised it was so brief. Like, I was just making my way through it, and then you joined me on that one, and I'm just like, oh, this is the fight with Crota?
I mean, that's the non-raid fight. You're just destroying his soul in the crystal thing.
And
That,
so in the raid, you fight actual Crota?
yeah, and you can only kill him with the sword and such. So
The Sword.
the sword. Trey, how about you? What you been up to? What you been playing?
I took advantage of getting the pinatas on the GOG.com where they had like this little sale the other day, and it might still be going on now.
Something like $3 for a random Steam key.
Yeah, well, no, for the $3 for a random game on GOG.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, except DRM free most of the time. That's another story.
Right.
Anyways, though, there was.
Didn't you get like all side scrollers?
I got Spelunky, and
Here's the
I
Storm?
can't remember off the top of my head. No, that didn't happen.
Volgar was another one.
Yeah, Volgar the Barbarian, and gosh, what was the other one was the newest version of Guacamelee.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh, Championship Edition.
Yeah, which I'm excited to play that, and I'm trying to play Spelunky, and this is my first time like really trying to ever play this game. It's pretty difficult.
Yeah, that's Spelunky is less of a game and more of like this sort of like lifestyle you have to kind of adapt to. It's pretty fascinating how deep that rabbit hole can go. So, yeah, I'm surprised that this is your first time getting into it, but I mean, that game's been out seems like forever, but I always find new people that.
I also on GOG got the that new game, Renowned Explorers International Society.
I have not heard of this one.
It's interesting so far. It's a little bit difficult to explain other than you're a group of explorers, like stereotypical old 80 days around the world style explorers. And your group ends up going out in like your steampunk blimp airship thing to go find all these like lost relics and buried treasures to make yourself be considered the most renowned explorer in the society. And so you pick a team of 3, and you start out with like a limited selection of captains. And then as you take people on adventures, you'll have more and more people go up in rank, and then they can be eligible to be a captain as well. But early on, you can only use a certain captains, and then you can pick other people for the crew to try to complement those specific captains.
What's the name of this game again?
Renowned Explorers International Society.
It sounds kind of rogue-likey.
Yes, there are actually quite a bit of roguelike elements within it.
Okay, cool. This is apparently like 9 out of 10 I don't know, so far in terms of like a lot of ratings and whatnot. At least according to Steam. I don't know. They came out this year.
I've enjoyed it so far. I had this one playthrough I did where I picked a scientist as the captain, and she was kind of crazy. It had like the steampunk giant, what's it called? Electrifying thing that I can't think of the name of it. Tasers, what that thing is called.
Taser? Okay. Yeah. I was going to guess Tesla something, but okay, keep going.
But basically, and so she had a thing where anytime we were about to make a decision that would decide like how we would get a reward in some things, if there was an option that was purely get more science stuff, that was the one we were going to pick, period, because she was the captain. But she gave you all these crazy bonuses for science that got you at like everything else, so it kind of balanced out.
So it looks like this also takes place on like a hex strategy, Fire Emblem-esque.
Yeah. That's most of where the roguelike element is. Like, you have a big fog of war around you when you start, and you're going to try to find a certain site where you could get a relic that you could basically increase your fame with. And then you go around all the different types of nodes that you can find around the world map areas once you're there. And then on those, sometimes you will find encounters that can be fights. But just because it's a fight doesn't mean you can't use abilities that let you talk your way out of it. And so usually you can solve any of those encounters either the violent way, where you just beat everybody up, the friendly way, where you talk them out of fighting, or the devious way, which you pull different tricks, make them too angry to be able to fight you properly, and eventually win because of that.
Cool. Sounds neat. I guess, okay, so yeah, on to me then. I've also been mostly sunk into Destiny, like 3 out of the 4 of us here. I've been playing a lot of Taken King. I streamed a little bit of it today. I've got 2 characters now max level, and I'm working on gearing up for raid that's supposed to drop on Friday. The way they've done that is a little bit more interesting. Like now, it's less about doing your weekly caps of getting legendary marks and more about just playing the game, because they have a smart loot system in place now where drops are determined by what your item level is now, and they try to seed out more and more upgrades. So it's been kind of interesting, and there's just a lot to do right now. Which, John, I'm sure if you've got a character up to 40 now, you can probably do attest that there's just
Yeah.
a whole ton of content compared to what there was in the original release of the game.
Oh yeah, it's almost too overwhelming. The moment that I got 40 yesterday, when I went back to the tower and I was like, oh cool, now I get to see what all I can get for in-game content, there were so many pop-ups for quests all over the place, and I'm going in my menu, and there were so many things. I was so overwhelmed, I didn't know what to do first. So I had to sit there and kind of sort through everything and try and plan my strategy as to what to do, and I still don't know what to do, honestly. I've just pretty much been exploring Dreadnought, but that's been fun, so.
Yeah.
That's a relief to hear, but I will say one thing. The new player experience for the Taken King is ridiculously complicated.
How so?
I started the game, or just not even new player, but just like player who has not been around since 1.0.
Lapsed player.
Well, I came back and I had like all these quests that were like halfway done, and then when I like the DLC content, like the Taken King and
So yeah, you're talking about Dark Below and House of Wolves.
sorry, Dark Below and House of Wolves. It just feels like it threw me in there, and I don't understand the context of it, especially because everyone in that game is acting like I've already completed that content.
Yeah,
Like,
admittedly,
everyone
like the
is, like-
leading setup into both of those DLCs were more like talk to this person, go do this story quest, and a little bit like the quest system they have put in now, which was what they put in the patch before, is supposed to be this connective tissue that's supposed to try to lead, from story mission to story mission. And you're right, though, for players that already have like a level 20 or 30, you're picking up these old abandoned quests, and you're just like, I guess I've already done half of the steps in this. It's kind of disconcerting.
Well, I mean, that's one thing that's a little confusing, but it's not even immersion breaking. It's like worse than that. I'm just walking around, and like the NPCs are literally treating me like I've already killed Crota or I've already beaten the House of Wolves, and I'm just like, I haven't even touched this content yet, and the game is already assuming I've done it, and I just feel like they could have done something to maybe not have these dialogue options pop up before you do that content.
I mean, it'd be kind of bad, though, if stuff like Taken King was restricted off until you beat those first 4 stories. I mean, like, I know that's, like, Heavensward, for example, makes it so that you have to go through all of the story content before you can get to the new expansion stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's another, like, that's the counterpoint on how you do this, so.
Well, it could have just been, I think, they could have just required you to do the Dark Below before you do the Taken King and just ignore the House of Wolves, because that story is so reliant. Like, the Taken King is basically built upon you've already killed Crota, his daddy's coming to kick your ass.
Pretty much, yeah.
But I haven't even touched Crota. I didn't even know he existed, but Eris Morn is telling me that, like, thank you for relieving me of this burden and shit.
You did do, like, that story-wise, like, just killing the crystal should be enough. Like,
no, I mean, before that.
Okay.
Before that, she was saying this shit, and I was just like, this is just... You couldn't have just...
I would say you should probably just have to go with it, honestly.
But I mean, it's just confusing, because here the story is supposed, like, apparently it's supposed to be really, like, pretty... like, the lore is supposed to be really rich, but here the game is telling me stuff that I haven't experienced yet, but when I experience it, it's so out of context that it just doesn't make any intuitive sense. And I think Bungie could have done better with that.
I think that's a complaint that's totally legit. Otherwise, though, with what I played from yesterday and today, I'm having a pretty good time with the new content, so... Granted, we're only on day 2. Like, I'm curious how other things play out. Like
how month 2 is gonna go.
Yeah, well, I mean, even just like the rest of the week. Like, Arms Day was today, and that was kind of interesting to have like reputation for that stack up. And now I'm expecting a cool weapon next week, and then how Zur is going to pop up on Friday, Saturday is going to be weird because like it seems like Strange Coin drop rate is way higher than what it was before.
So did y'all get any of the new legendaries?
I have not got. Wait, you mean like exotics, right?
Exotics, yeah. Sorry.
The only exotic I've gotten since I've played so far has been the one that you got for being a year 1 player. You got that Hawk Moon I saw.
Okay,
actually, I believe it's a random drop. All of my friends have played. One got the Monte Carlo, one got Hawk Moon, and me and another one of my friends got the Mata multi-tool. So I was a little disappointed I didn't get a year 2 exotic, but I didn't have the multi-tool, so I'm not complaining too much.
Yeah, I think that the way that Ingram was seeded is that you were more likely to get something that you didn't already have. And I saw a lot of takes for Hawk Moon and Monte Carlo when I was looking through Reddit stuff. Granted, a lot of that is probably just because there are a lot of Xbox players, and though if you didn't have any, those exotics just became available from PS4 exclusive content.
Because I am an Xbox player, so I was really hoping to kind of get one just to play around with it a little bit, but
Yeah. I mean, I myself got a Monte Carlo, and I was really happy to see that because that's going to enable a lot of melee builds. But
it made me happy. That was the Hawk Moon was my first exotic, so
yeah. I mean, it's like a great way to start off the stuff. It's like, here, everybody, basically go Oprah, free exotics for everybody, and you get an exotic. You don't get one trade because you don't play, but that's okay.
Nope.
Let's get on some new stuff though. Let's quit talking about Destiny, and we'll give it a week and see how we are with that.
I mean, I think that was enough for Destiny.
Yeah, I like it. That's just me. I'm curious to see how receptive you're going to be and in the future with it, Miguel, because notoriously tough to please with that, and for good reason. Tokyo Game Show 2015 is going on. I guess it started up yesterday, and with the way the time zones are, they had their press conference like way late at night, or maybe that was Monday.
Square Enix did?
No, just in general, there was like a large stage stuff. Granted, it was mostly PlayStation news stuff, but there is a handful of things here on the
all of the
Loadout.
JRPGs.
So, I mean, the first one that I was excited to hear about is that Bloodborne is getting DLC, the Old Hunters expansion, which basically adds new weapons, new arenas, new items, new magic, new bosses, enemies, etc. Just more of everything.
Is there new maps?
Good for you PS4 guys, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's like it's 50% of the reason I own the system right now is that, and then Destiny. So, otherwise everything else I have is on the PC. But yeah, that's coming out for like $20, and it's going to get also Bloodborne is getting a re-release in January that has this bundled in called the Old Hunters Edition, and hopefully it's going to expand on some lore stuff, which is probably what I'm most excited about. With the name like Old Hunters, there are some ties there, and I've got some theories about what could be in there, so that's cool.
The Withered Winches.
Sure.
Mentioning really old. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, continuing.
So who's a fan of Kingdom Hearts here?
Oh, it's been a long time since I've played it, but I'm a fan.
Okay.
I have not played
I
any of the
guess.
DS games though.
Okay. So that's the notoriously difficult part about these. If you like Kingdom Hearts, you have to own like 5 or 7 different systems. And that's always been my main complaint against the series. Of course, now I want to say that my actual main complaint is the naming convention behind. Because Kingdom Hearts...
You don't like number over number?
358/2 was pretty bad to begin with, but Kingdom Hearts 2.8 HD edition is getting released. And it's numbered like Roman numeral 2, and then dot, then what is it, alphanumeric 8?
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense at all. So this is a game that contains an HD remaster of Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance, which was a 3DS game.
Also an absurd name.
I mean, that kind of makes sense because there are a lot of developers that tried to make the 3D like say something or mean or stand for something. Like I understand where Dream Drop Distance came from. Then there's an HD theater cinematic called Kingdom Hearts X back cover, but it's actually probably pronounced Kingdom Hearts Key back cover because the X symbol actually means key, which kind of means death. And oh my god, I hate myself because this is all Kingdom Hearts lore bullshit. And then finally there's a playable episode, Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Sleep, a fragmentary passage.
Has anyone else played Birth by Sleep?
I've
what the hell is a playable episode?
Okay, apparently
it's gonna be like 30 minutes is what it's gonna be.
So at the end of Birth by Sleep, you basically have this exclusive cutscene that if you do certain things in the game, you can watch. But apparently, this is supposed to be you playing through it with extra little bits.
The way Birth by Sleep was organized, like it was a PSP game, and you played as 3 different characters.
Aqua, Terra, and Ventus.
Right, which all stand for like Earth, Wind, and Sky or whatever. You'd have to go through all the worlds and do stuff. Like it's always what it is with Kingdom Hearts games. Like you have to get all the Dalmatians or something like that to unlock the secret ending. This one had one of those, and it set up a sort of Kingdom Hearts 3 as well as what happened between Birth by Sleep and number 1. It was actually a really cool cinema thing. One of the characters, though, ends up in this really random, far-out kind of dark place near the end of the game, and this is going to let you play part of that section, because it's been kind of a mystery in the lore where she went. This whole naming stuff, though, and what's actually included in this package just boggles my mind. Why this is called Kingdom Hearts 2 when it does contain Kingdom Hearts 2, and why the HD collections have not been announced for this generation of consoles is also kind of frustrating.
That being said,
yeah, I don't know. Like, this is a thing. People will buy it. Whatever. We're still waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, one thing about Kingdom Hearts 3 that I thought was interesting is the fact they're actually releasing it on Xbox One. Is this version, this HD 2.8, is this going to be on Xbox One as well?
I need to double check. I don't even know what system this is.
Because I tried to do some research on that too, and I couldn't find anything.
All of the HD remakes, HD updates are PlayStation exclusive, even on PS3.
Okay. Well, that kind of has a little bit of a problem with me because I don't think it's really fair that Xbox One players are going to get Kingdom Hearts 3, but they're not going to be able to experience that. So I feel like it's kind of leaving out a lot of story and background for a lot of the Xbox players, I guess.
But that also kind of circles back to what Kevin was saying, because there's a lot of people that went from Xbox 360 to PS4 who never had a PS2 to play the Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2, but those two HD remakes, 1.5 and 2.5, aren't on PS4 either.
Yeah, and I can also confirm that this 2.8, it's only on PS4 right now.
Okay.
That's all is listed in the ending of the trailer. But yeah, those HD collections need to come forward. They should also be on Xbox, although I wonder if it would be too tough to renegotiate, like if there's like Square Enix plus Disney stuff, if that just makes it like a logistical nightmare for like contract stuff. I don't know. But the fact that this is only coming out on PS4 is really bizarre to me as well.
I have a feeling that the reason why it's coming out on PS4 isn't because of this licensing issue. It's probably because it is not like Final Fantasy is a kind of ubiquitous JRPG. Like when even if you're not a gamer, some people know Final Fantasy, like the whole legacy of it. But Kingdom Hearts, I feel like from their perspective, since internationally Xbox One isn't selling well at all, and Xbox One in America is only 1/3 of the current generation between Xbox One and PS4, so they're probably just thinking that they're not going to sell enough copies to justify the port.
I suppose.
I think Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to do, and if that does well, then they might port it.
I could kind of get behind that argument, I guess, if it was about like packaging and physical stuff, because that does have a legitimate cost behind it. But why not it make them digital only downloads? Like there are plenty of people that would still like buy that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably not that. It's likely because Square Enix does that for two companies, for themselves and for IDOS. But it's probably the amount of money that it just takes to port the code from the proprietary PS4 system to basically DirectX.
Actually, it's not even that. It's probably porting the code from PS3, which is on that whole cell processor nightmare stuff, and getting that to work for modern stuff is apparently not that easy. So
yeah.
But let's not get wrapped up in this. Like we could go on and on about Kingdom Hearts, and then we just look like fools by the end of it. Did you guys hear about the $100-ish price cut that was on the PS4 as well? It's only Asian territories right now, and I wish I could find the exact yen discount, but somebody equated to about $100.
That transfer of price is it's not reliable, because the cut down was not 1/4 of the price. If you look at the original yen cost,
Mm-hmm.
It's like more 15% of the original cost rather than 25%. It's just they're converting the yen cost and not the actual conversion from the original price.
You're right. So the new price converts around. It says $292 US. So it's probably closer to. It said it was 39, about 40,000 yen, down to 34,000 yen. So you can go 40,000 to 35,000. So it was probably closer to about $330 if you wanted to. But even still, it's like a $40-$50 price drop. Once you do all the conversion stuff. PS4 right now is still priced at what, $400 US?
Yeah, 39999.
So if you brought it down to 350, that's still like it does. The system doesn't need to do it right now as a thing, but the fact that it is just seems really cool.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's because they're coming out with a newer model.
I think they've already actually shown off the newer model. It has like a terabyte hard drive as well as a different finish, and it runs quieter as well.
That's what the problem was. My PS4 was too loud.
Yeah, I know, right? Does the new price for you, Trey, at all? Does that seem, or do you still have no interest at all, I guess, in console gaming anymore? Have you transcended that?
I don't really care. The majority of games that I really want to play are going to come out on PC. Like I would like to play Bloodborne, I guess, but I got really no other real reason to buy one.
And John, you said you were playing Destiny on Xbox. Are you playing on Xbox One or 360?
Yeah, I'm playing on the Xbox One.
Okay. Are there things on the PS4 right now? Are you like happy right now in the Xbox One ecosystem?
Well, I mean, I'm a pretty hardcore Halo fan, so I always go with the Xbox every time a new console comes around. But I don't know, that might kind of influence me a little bit to pick up a PS4 eventually. I know I picked up the PS3 a long time after release, so I don't know. It might help a little bit, but the main reason I picked up the Xbox One was because there's just not that many exclusives on the PS4 that I really cared for, but it might bring me in a little bit of a cheaper price.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, as far as good gets for like getting people into the Xbox ecosystem, Halo is up there, and Halo 5 is looking pretty good right now.
Yeah.
Is that October? No, when is that launch?
I believe it is late October. I'm pretty sure it's late October, something like that.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Anybody here play Gravity Rush at all on the Vita? Just Miguel?
Me.
I played a little bit of it.
It's because I'm the only one here that owns a Vita.
I played a little bit here and there, but I never got to play all the way through it. Game had like great visuals, fantastic soundtrack, kind of weird story. Like the main gimmick though that was behind it was the whole using the the gyroscope inside the Vita to move around 360
so basically,
degrees.
your character can manipulate gravity, and when in other games it's like you're flying everywhere. In this game, you're literally falling everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You can fall up or you can fall forwards, and your attacks are like rely on what direction you're falling to do damage and stuff.
Yeah, it was I can't remember if it was a launch game or something for
It was practically a launch game.
Yeah, but it was really...
It was free on PlayStation Plus for PS Vita for almost an eternity. So
yeah, it was a really neat like sort of tech showcase for that game when it came out. I think it was called Gravity Days in Japan, like DAZE. That's getting a sequel though, and it's coming out on PS4.
The original is also getting an HD remake for the PS4.
That's cool. I mean, like I'm guessing the easy way to make that work is just use the 6-axis in the PS4.
Also, the touchpad on the front.
Okay. So that looks neat, to say the least. Who likes virtual reality?
Well, I haven't tried it yet.
I guess nobody here has actually tried the...
You've tried the...
Oh yeah, I actually forgot about that. I did totally try the Oculus. That's just how memorable it was. Well... No, it was over at Game Time when it was the gaming club last spring. I want to say they had an Oculus Rift set up there. Granted, like when I tried it, it was with Half-Life 2, and I don't know if that's the best showcase for that piece of hardware. It was, I don't know, it kind of gave me a little bit of a headache when I was trying it. I don't think I was using like a Crystal Cove unit or anything like that. But Sony has their whole thing called Project Morpheus, and that's getting renamed to now PlayStation VR,
which is so much more boring.
I guess, but like this was always
retro.
This was always going to happen, though. Like I can remember when the Kinect was Project Natal, and for a good few years, people were actually calling it Project Natal. But
And Connect sounds so much more boring.
I know, but I mean, everything, like every code name, eventually gets dropped. The Dolphin will become the game.
No, the Revolution.
Yeah, will become the Wii. What other ones? There's NGP, which was Next Generation.
Destiny was Tiger, I think.
Yeah, that's right. It was Tiger. God, I feel like there was some other ones. I'm totally blanking right now, though, on some of the other code names I can still remember. The Mega 64.
We have a code name that's currently going through like an example. The new Nintendo platform.
What is it? It's
the NX.
The NX.
Oh
yeah.
That's not going to be named the NX, or knowing Nintendo, it may very well be named the NX.
You can never tell, right?
The Wii Us.
Did the Wii U have a code name before it was just
Wii?
No.
Give me the Wii.
I mean, I guess that was just such a layup in their eyes, and then just
they revealed it. People still didn't know what they were looking at.
And then 50% of the parents out there is like, oh no, we don't need that. We already have a Wii. So, yeah. Who likes Saga?
I do.
I've got Saga Frontier 2 actually sitting around here somewhere.
Yeah.
I can't say I've played it.
I've played Romancing Saga and Unlimited Saga.
Saga for me was always, and correct me if I'm wrong, it was the Game Boy franchise that got renamed as Final Fantasy Adventures over in the States.
Yes,
well,
that's a thing.
It was not Final Fantasy Adventures. It was the Final Fantasy Legend.
That's it. Yeah, it was one of those.
Because Final Fantasy Adventures is actually getting an HD remake for PS Vita and phones.
Right, and it's sort of like my first Final Fantasy. But
I'm sorry.
Anyways, new Saga. There's a new Saga game that's coming, and it's coming out on PlayStation Vita next year. It's called Saga Scarlet Grace, and that's literally all I know about the game because the trailer is just a minute of artwork
and text.
Yes, in Japanese that I can't read. But you guys can, because you guys are both in the same Japanese class, so clearly I need to ask you.
We can pick out little parts of it and give you a couple words.
I can take you some words, maybe a few phrases.
Okay.
Not too.
Well, since you guys are both in Japanese classes, then you must both like Attack on Titan, right?
Shingeki no Kyojin?
Pretty good.
I am not a fan of Attack on Titan at all.
Really?
Well, saying that, I'm not a fan of Attack on Titan at all, but watching that trailer for that new Attack on Titan game, it's actually pretty impressive and actually looks pretty fun.
The gameplay that they showed in that trailer looked like, okay, this is coming from Koei Tecmo, and Koei Tecmo is all about making some derivative Dynasty Warriors type game. And I looked at that trailer, I was like, holy crap, this gameplay actually looks super fun. Like it looks super fluid, super engaging, like you were just running all up on those Titans and tearing them to bits. But I'm just like, how much of that is actually enjoyable and just pre-generated animations?
Yeah, there's only 10 or 15 seconds of actual gameplay in there. Otherwise, it's a lot of cutscene looking like the anime thing, pretty much. There have been a few Attack on Titan games already. I know, at least on mobile platforms.
There was one on 3DS.
Yeah, but I don't know of any that have actually risen to the top to be these are must-play games. So I'm curious to see where this goes. Let's see, some stuff here that's also not on the document. Trey, I was going to ask you.
Yes.
Wait, did somebody know about Project Setsuna? Which was.
I do.
Okay, what is that?
The new Square Enix RPG.
Okay, what is that?
I mean, they don't really have much on it right now. It just looks like it's mostly, from what I understand, it's a JRPG that mostly focuses on Japanese folklore.
Star Ocean. You've played Star Ocean, right, Trey? Or am I crazy?
I've played Star Ocean.
No, you're pretty crazy.
Okay, never mind. Because that seemed right up there with the Suicode and stuff, but maybe I'm just... Okay. It's a Trias game. They're doing another old Star Ocean game, which comes out in 2016, and then Dragon Quest Builders, which looks like Minecraft, but with Dragon Quest. Yeah, so...
The way that they explained it, it looked like a... Because Builders, I think, is coming out on Vita.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like some sort of Castle Defense with Dragon Quest skin.
World of Final Fantasy also got shown off there, which was the Final Fantasy trailer that came out before the 7 trailer, I think.
Yeah, it's It's a PS Vita, PS4 game. It apparently you capture creatures and summons to fight each other, so it has shades of like Pokemon.
That sounds like that or Dragon Warrior Monsters.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna get it because if it's Final Fantasy and on a console I own, I will get it.
Mm. Oh, on here, yeah, Team Ninja has a game that was originally going to come out on the PS3 called Nioh, like Nioh, Nioh. It's like a samurai action game type thing, and it looks sort of like this weird combination between, well, I would say weird, like actually kind of obvious combination between looks like Onimusha and Dark Souls.
So is it like Ninja Gaiden but with a samurai?
Yeah, but like with the samurai, you're not flipping off the walls and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a little bit slower paced. Like I said, Onimusha I think is a good place to sort of set your expectations to begin with, which was always the like samurai game if made by the Resident Evil creators. So, and then there's Yakuza stuff. I don't think has anybody here actually played any of the Yakuza franchise?
I've never played a single one. Every time I see it, I think it's like something like the Japanese Grand Theft Auto.
It's sort of like that through the lens of a Korean soap opera is what I always get out of it. But anyways, those were the biggest things that I saw. Apparently, Last Guardian was also shown like behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Let's see, other stuff that I totally forgot about putting in the doc. Did anybody look at the trailer for the Pokemon ARG, or not ARG? What is it? The like as done through Google Phone stuff.
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon, is that what it's called? Yeah, Pokemon Go.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Pretty
interesting, actually.
Like it's a big ass hype trailer, and it's all like you're using your phone as a camera to overlay like the real world, and you can see Pokemon there apparently and capture them.
Of course, no gameplay shown in the trailer at all, but you know.
Like, I think there's 2 still screens on it, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's gonna be all that great. Well, isn't this like Nintendo's first major foray into mobile gaming?
Yes, but it's also being done as a cooperative with Google's altered. What do we call that? Altered not reality.
Augmented reality.
Augmented reality.
Yeah.
That's it. Ingress was the name of the game that was which has a very hardcore like fan base about like capturing points and stuff like that. So.
Right. I'm actually an Ingress player. So.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the same company that did Ingress. So why don't you go ahead and just tell us what Ingress is?
Well, Ingress is basically it uses Google Maps, and it's all player run, and the portals are submitted on like historic landmarks or art pieces and stuff like that. And there are 2 different factions that are fighting to control these points all around the world. And basically, through a combination of linking these points together and stuff and capturing these portals, you get the points for each faction, and then there's like a checkpoint where you basically a faction will be the winner for a certain number of days, and kind of like that. It's very confusing to explain. It's like
World v World in Guild Wars 2.
Sort of.
Like, own a landmark, and then a week later it's all reset.
Right, because I mean, there's plenty of portals around campus here, and I'll play walking around, and they'll be hit moments after I walk away from it. But I mean, playing that for about a year now, I feel like Pokemon Go has good potential. But the only way I can really see it go after playing Ingress for a year is sort of Pokemon Ingress. I guess.
That's what I've heard. Like people that play Ingress, like see like a lot of parallels in how this could work. Yeah. I'm curious if it's actually going to use like the old Game Boy system of capture Pokemon, train them up, have 4 moves, that kind of thing, and go from there. Yeah, I don't know. But the hype trailer will get you super hype. I'll say that much.
Oh yeah.
It put a smile on my face, but I don't know how practical this is. I'm sure there will actually be quite a few. Accidents, injuries, and stuff like that of people like driving along, holding their phone out the window or something, and just not paying attention.
I can see that coming already.
What is going to be the graphical fidelity of it?
I don't know.
Like, it has to be impressive for me to actually like it.
Like, if it's
I'm not going to jump on the whole.
What if it's just sprites?
Go train because I like Pokemon? No, it has to be a good game before I actually care about it.
Yeah. I feel like the trailer hyped it up a lot more than it really should.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But it's worth. I mean, it's worth taking a look at. This is. I don't even know where it's slated at right now. I'm very curious to see where it goes. But let's keep going. So there was some. Let's go, I guess, to the Street Fighter V stuff since we have Miguel on here.
Rashid.
Right. So this is the new character they announced over at the Games 15 Expo in Dubai. This is the second original character right now for the Street Fighter V cast.
With Nakat, something like that.
Yeah. And I believe I read somewhere that he's the first Middle Eastern character that's ever been in a Street Fighter roster.
Apparently. Like, I think there was a Middle Eastern character in Street Fighter X, but no one really because it was made by a different company. No one, and the game engine is completely different because it's a 3D fighter.
Mm-hmm.
People don't consider that as like a canon Street Fighter game. So yeah, he looks really interesting. He's all about mobility.
Do you have any idea like what some of his unique effects, since V triggers and stuff like that are all part of the game now?
All I know for certain is when he activates it, he can like dart off of walls. So kind of like Vega, but it like his. I think that when he's in V trigger, he gets extra range and stuff. But he's all about being quick.
Cool. Being quick seems cool.
Yeah. So he looks really cool. He also doesn't look. They could have gone super stereotypical with a Middle Eastern person, but I feel like they struck a really interesting balance between the culture of the Middle East and I think Arabic culture and technology and modernity. So
yeah, the headpiece reminds me very much of, I guess, Aladdin. I want to say
Mummy.
Yeah, something like that. But he also has a scouter or something. He's got like half of a sunglass on.
He has a back. It looks like he has like a wind turbine on his back.
But yeah. So, do we ever get a release date for 5?
Next year.
Next year.
I think that's as close as we know.
Otherwise, it's just beta stuff. And have they been rolling in the new characters they've been announcing into the betas? Do you know?
They did for one patch, but they're still missing Rashid and Armika, and I think that Vega and the Cut aren't in it either.
Okay. Yeah, I guess they probably would have already dissected. Do you think it would be a good idea to put these characters into the beta to have them like start theory crafting and taking them apart?
I think the most important thing about the beta is that not only are they testing their networking servers, but they're also getting early feedback for balancing. And Street Fighter, that's why there's so many iterations, is they really want to make sure that the character is balanced correctly. But with Street Fighter V, the whole you can potentially get new characters without having to buy them, and they're going to expand on the core game rather than iterate with sequels. I think that it seems like they're going to adopt a more Killer Instinct style
with the whole season thing going on. So. Still curious how that turns out. Just full of curiosity.
Street Fighter has like a huge pool of characters to pick from.
So, you mean for like old characters, but also they said they're rolling in what? Is it 4 brand new characters?
I think it's 4 brand new characters.
Right. So we got 2 more of those to look forward to. But you say you like how he sort of fits in with the roster right now. You think it's a good fit.
Yeah. So some of the characters have gotten kind of big changes. Like Vega is now stance based. Claw and not Claw. Like normally in the older games, he would either have Claw that would do chip damage and increase his attack range.
Well, you would knock it off eventually,
or he could throw it off.
Right.
And now he actually has 2 stances that change his moves and his properties of his normals and stuff.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting to see if all of these like extra systems layered on top, what that does to the metagame once it is actually out and released. Let's keep going down. I want to skip the stuff about the Kingdom Hearts 2.9 multiplayer stuff because this sounds like stuff that was actually 2.8 maybe with LinkedIn, but it's more stuff about looks like details getting leaked on LinkedIn before actual official announcements. The bigger thing, Trey, why don't you take this one?
So Nintendo finally announced its new president. It ended up being Tatsumi Kimishima. Who apparently, he took over after Satoru Iwata, obviously. And he was Nintendo of America's president from 2002 to 2006. And for that, he apparently worked at Sanwa Bank in Japan for nearly 30 years and was also chief financial officer of the Pokemon Company.
So it's worth noting that President of Nintendo of America position is the position that's currently held by Reggie Fils-Aimé right now.
Yes.
So he was in Reggie's job before Reggie had it. You can look at this guy. He looks a lot like the kind of guy who would run, a Fortune 500 company.
Like, yeah, he looks pretty serious and like a pretty standard idea of a Japanese
He's
business.
businessman, yeah.
I cannot wait to see him act all goofy and whatnot in a Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, I want to see the Muppet version of him right now.
That's just so sad. It's still, yeah.
I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Like, I mean, it's weird because of how like human, I guess, Satoru seemed like compared to him, or Mr. Iwata seemed like compared to him now. Like, and if you try to Google him, it doesn't help that like every picture of him also is him looking more like a stern, serious Japanese businessman. At the same time, like his record and credentials seem like they would be a good fit for the position. Like,
yeah, I mean, the only thing that worries me is like his credentials are really good. He's served as CEO for multiple different branches of Nintendo and companies like the Pokemon Company, but it just we don't really get a feel for how he is in terms of his opinion on games.
Right now, yeah, there's the only real statement that's been given is, let's see, there will be no change in President Wada's fundamental objectives and strategies. It says the plan right now is a next generation of collective leadership, as well as a theme of new projects, as well as nurturing talented people.
That just sounds like PR to me.
It does, but at the same time, it makes a lot of sense because a lot of people in Nintendo's like corporate structure are starting to get up there in terms of years, and like they need to start bringing out some more recognizable faces that are not just Miyamoto and Aonuma. Like they gotta start creating for like more celebrities that already exist in that company.
Reggie will take over all of the world.
There you go, you got it.
That does lead in, however, to another thing I put a little ways down, where Nintendo announced that they were going to continue the Nintendo Direct specials without Iwata, but they haven't yet announced a host for it.
I mean, like you asked, like who I guess you'd like to see for that kind of stuff. The obvious ones with Miyamoto or Aonuma up there. Who's the guy who did the? Does anybody know the name of the guy who did the presentation for? What was the 3DS game that was the like hotel simulator where you made your friends and stuff and they all had wacky adventures? What was it?
I know what you're talking about, but the name doesn't come to mind.
This is good.
The one that had like where in Japan it had gay marriage as a bug, but then they patched it out.
Are you talking about the game was Tomodachi Life, wasn't it?
Tomodachi Life.
Yeah.
I think it was Bill Trennan was the name of the guy who did the presentation, and they did it for Tomodachi Life, and he was hilarious in it. So I feel like he would be a good spot for it. At the same time, though, when they do Nintendo Directs, they do a Japanese version of it as well as an English version. And sometimes they actually show different content on them. So I don't know if they would have different people for them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I wanted to throw in though. I hate to backtrack a little bit, but when they announced Kimishima as the new president, one thing that I noticed that I thought was pretty interesting is that apparently he advised against the Wii U and that he predicted that it would fail when it released. I found that a little interesting.
What I read was that he was against the naming of the Wii U. How people would be confused by the naming, and he predicted that people like what you said
would be. I think
my,
it's dead on. Like
that's great. That's great. Maybe they won't name the next one the Wii.
Yeah. But I'm very curious. I keep saying that I need a new phrase. At first, when I was doing podcasting, it was always I say like too much, and I still probably say like too much. And now I'm saying that I'm very curious to see how it turns out because I'm very curious to see how this turns out.
Well, I mean, you can be curious to see how it turns out,
but I need to be excited about something as opposed to just curious. I don't know. Let's keep going. Here's something that is also a very curious move. StarCraft 2, Legacy of the Void, which is the third expansion for StarCraft. It is getting released on November 10th.
You mean Herald of the Stars?
Yeah, that's it. Hots. Can anybody else tell me if there's anything else that's coming out on November 10th?
I don't know. I don't know dates like that.
Trey, how about you?
November 10th.
Typing it in. Okay.
That's one way to find out.
You could also just look at the doc because I'm kind of being facetious here.
Oh, well, you should have told us that.
Yeah.
You're not very good at expressing it with your tongue.
You don't have this date like engraved in your brain right now?
Star Wars Battlefront comes on the
No, actually, I don't.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'll just say it then. Fallout 4 comes out on November 10th.
Yeah, no, I'm not as
Oh, so
excited
that
about that
means
as everyone else is.
that means Tomb Raider comes out on November 10th.
Yeah, this day is getting really crowded, and I think it's I don't know why you would try to release against that game, but
I think StarCraft is going to sell like it's going to be fine. I don't
sure.
think StarCraft is going to take as much of a hit as Tomb Raider is.
In reality, there's probably not that much overlap between like the audiences that play Fallout and StarCraft. But for me, I play both those games, and now that I have to take more days off of work now so that I can fit all this in.
More days off of work.
Yeah.
You know what you should do is just buy. You should get Herald of the Stars first,
Mm-hmm.
and then beat it and experience it, and then sink the next 9 years of your life into Fallout 4.
I think I'm going to do that in the opposite.
You'll never get around
Predicted.
to it that way.
Well, I mean, the only like consolation I have right here for Fallout 4 is that the mod tools don't come out until 2016. So maybe
People
I
are
could just.
still going to mod it. People don't care about mod tools. They're still going to mod it.
Well, no, it's been interesting because there have been some mod projects right now that are trying to make the decision: do they keep making whatever campaign thing that they're doing for New Vegas, which there are some that are doing, or are they converting their stuff to Fallout 4? One of the most recent projects I can remember looking at was this thing called Fallout Lone Star, which was going to take place in Texas. And it was going to do everything in New Vegas, and they made the decision that they were going to wait until Fallout 4 comes out, which lets them do a lot of stuff in terms of like concept art and whatnot, doing recording dialogue and setting and doing writing before it comes out.
Well, much of the work is probably either already done or they need to do like the biggest change is that like they're probably either going to have to rehire or get back the people that did all the graphical changes and updates to New Vegas to just do it on that.
Yeah, this all is with the assumption that scripting and running through things is going to be similar to how it was in New Vegas in 3, which we don't know yet what the creation kit tools look like. But I mean, people jumped on top of Skyrim pretty quickly in terms of modding. I'm hoping that there'll still be a pretty good retention of modders that move from that to Fallout 4. We were talking, I guess, a few days ago about the popularity between Tomb Raider and Fallout, and I was really just sort of flabbergasted at just how much more popular Skyrim was compared to Fallout. But that was just me. And then just how many more units Tomb Raider has sold over the years than Fallout. But that kind of should have made more sense in my brain.
That does make more sense because Tomb Raider was a massive game, especially like the first couple.
Lara Croft literally put the ass in massive.
I mean, those first couple, I can totally get behind you with, and more ass jokes, resume. But once Angel of Darkness for like the PS2 came out, I can just remember a critical dearth of reviews when it came to Lara Croft games up till, I want to say, when they did the remake of the first game and gave her a grappling hook. I don't know. And then when they did the whole reboot of it, it seemed like they were back on the map. But
it's weird because you see people saying Uncharted is a Tomb Raider, an iteration of Tomb Raider, and then now people are saying Tomb Raider is an iteration on Uncharted.
Yeah, it's kind of art imitating art again, for more, for lack of a better term. But yeah. So we'll see how that turns out. Trey, you've seen some stuff about For Honor, right?
Yeah, I'm excited about that game. It looks like it could be pretty good. It is, however, Ubisoft. Specifically, Ubisoft Montreal is developing it. So I'm not going to hold my breath, but so far it's looking pretty good. They actually just released a new trailer at Tokyo Game Show. Where they focused in on the samurai faction, specifically the Oni class that they have in that, and like the different gear and types of abilities that it has.
Cool. So for people that haven't seen that, I always compare it to be the AAA version of Chivalry, more or less. Can you give it a better sort of explanation as to what it is?
I kind of like that, in all honesty. Also, it's got a number of aspects of like Dynasty Warrior style games, Koei Tecmo style games.
It's kind of like a point control. Like a lot of the maps from what I've seen are like point control.
Yeah, you could make comparison to MOBAs in some ways because you have all these like minion characters that like will rush forward to the bases, and so. But that does give also opportunities because if you're not very good necessarily at the PvP combat, you can still like help benefit your people by like slaughtering all these minions and kind of get a more Dynasty Warrior style feel out of it instead, with a little bit less chivalry to it since you're not dueling people.
That kind of reminds me a lot of what Titanfall, how you could take on the AI like minions if you weren't good at doing the just regular PvP stuff. So.
What was that game that we saw at E3 that was kind of like a MOBA, but it was like an action game?
Are you talking about with the medieval knights versus the Vikings? So that's this game, Chivalry.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure because I was like, I don't remember anything.
I'm sorry, not Chivalry. For Honor. My bad.
For Honor.
Yeah.
I was just making sure because I was like, that game looked interesting, and this trailer tells me nothing except the guy looks cool.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just talking about that one guy and some of the abilities he has. Like, you can call down a rain of arrows on top of, like, a certain area. Apparently, you can, like, coat your blade in poison before dueling someone.
Sounds a lot like Gangplank.
Yeah, and you've also got, like, a kunai dagger thing that you can throw at people as, like, a short, like, kind of shortish ranged weapon.
I've heard some review stuff or some people talking about what they've played over at things like PAX, for example. I think, it was stuff of the what's the Total Biscuits podcast, Co-optional.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how you control like where you hold your sword with the left stick and you move with the right stick, so that sword position matters a lot. Apparently, it's supposed to be very complicated, but once you learn it, it's supposed to be a lot of fun.
I really want to sink my teeth into that game. I'm looking forward to it very much.
What's so funny?
Nothing.
Okay, fine. That's all the new stuff I think I saw this week. Like, granted, I've been really buried from Metal Gear now into Destiny, which, John, I'm pretty sure you can... Do you want to say how many hours you've actually got into Phantom Pain?
Actually, if you give me 1 second, I can look. It's not as many as I want. I'm 33 hours in, which feels like a lot, but I believe I'm about maybe like roughly a little less than halfway through the game.
Mm-hmm.
So,
do you know what story chapter you're on, or?
I believe I'm somewhere around 20, something like that.
I don't know how far to tell you are in that game because there's an ending and then there's another ending and then there's a third ending and there's a lot of endings.
I've been pretty much staying away from all Metal Gear topics to try and avoid spoilers because you know how that goes.
Yeah.
But I've been doing all the side ops. I try to do every side op that I can. I go back to Mother Base,
Yeah, no,
a couple of my soldiers.
I was like you very much before that game came out and doing my best to stay away from the parts of the internet I know that like to spoil that Mr. Kojima's crazy ride because that totally turns into that. We're getting to the tail end of our show though right now, and we like to do this little segment called Steam RNG. So for people that have not listened or seen before, Steam RNG is a little nifty tool we like to use to be able to expose people's game libraries, their Steam backlogs, what they may own, etc., and get them to talk about the games that they've picked up, that they've bought, and if they've completed said games.
Or shame us for not having played the games we buy.
Mm-hmm. And then if we're lucky, maybe we can get them to do, stream a little bit of gameplay at some point in the upcoming week between the show. This past week, for example, I took a look at Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Granted, it was mainly the first hour with the tutorial, and then managing to sequence break some of the game so that some story elements wouldn't happen, as well as get berated constantly by both Trey and Michael at one of their favorite games. So
that was fun to watch.
You suck in that game.
You and those damn locks. It seemed like the only thing you actually knew how to do.
To be fair, I really, really like lockpicking in game.
Yeah. That's just his Fallout instincts kicking in.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Fallout lockpicking minigame is so cathartic to me. Just being able to actually finally do a lockpick on there, it's so good, and I'm so glad that it's back in Fallout 4. But anyways, we should get on to this. Let's start with Miguel.
Why am I always the one who starts these things?
Well, you're the
That's
one
not
that
true.
you sent me your list, so you put some effort into it. In fact, what is it? Executive producer of the show, Michael Brothers, he actually put together a batch file for me. If we get people to start submitting text, just text readouts of their games, it will actually do a real RNG thing as compared to the fake RNG that I do right now to pick their games.
How do you fake RNG it?
Man, if you could see my screen right now, in fact, I could probably like show it, but I can't tell you the secrets of how things work. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and put some coins, and we're gonna go ahead and start spinning down. And once Miguel tells me the word stop, we're gonna talk about Torchlight 2.
Okay, Torchlight 2. It was a game I got solely to play with my friend Kyle. And I had played Torchlight 1 a little bit, and then I was like, Torchlight 1 just was so basic. Like,
Okay.
Torchlight 1 was like, it felt like my first isometric role-playing game. Like, action role-playing game.
It
And
felt
then
like a mini Diablo to me.
yeah, but like, it was like Diablo Light.
Mhm.
And so I got Torchlight 2, and I was expecting it to be the same rigmarole of like all basic and stuff, but it was actually incredibly deep. Like all the drop rate was higher. Like the characters are more interesting. The class abilities were a bit better. It has this cel shaded animation style that kind of doesn't let you really know how old it is because it's not. It's a little old now.
Yeah, this came out September 20th in 2012. This was about the same time Diablo 3 came out.
Yeah, the developers were the people who made the original Diablo.
A few of them, from Blizzard North, that made Diablo 2, they were on this team now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a response to be able to keep making these games. And I can remember a lot of people when Diablo 3 launched initially, and how they were miffed with the auction house that this was the alternative that they used, or they said, well, if you want to play the style of this game that's probably more in line with older stuff, this is the one to go to.
Yeah, but I didn't get to play very much of it, mostly because I got really annoyed because new people kept joining our little group of friends, and we had to just redo the beginning over and over and over again. And I was just like, no thanks.
Yeah, this was the first Torchlight did not have multiplayer. This one did.
It does, yeah.
The other thing that's really worth noting is that Torchlight has a very vibrant modding scene, adding in custom classes, items, and just general gameplay improvements. Do you know? So you don't know how many hours then you've probably sunk into this.
I'm sure it's only been a handful, like maybe 11 or 12.
Okay. And so you haven't beaten it either, I'm assuming.
No,
not at all.
Can't speedrun it on the first try. I wish.
I know I picked that up on some kind of humble sale, and I think I only ever put an hour into it myself. So.
It's like if you like the classic Diablo games, it's like the classic Diablo games, updated so that it has a lot more quality of life improvements. And one of the quality of life improvements is amazing, where you get to put all your items you want to sell on your dog, and you send, or not even the dog, just your pet, and you send that pet away, and he comes back either with stuff that you wanted to buy, or with money. And that's like you don't have to break the pacing of the dungeon exploration because you can just send your pet off into the ether.
Yep. It's it's by all accounts it's a really good game. But if you end up streaming it, let me know. Like maybe we can do a multiplayer co-op stream type thing.
Maybe.
Okay. Jonathan, you're up next.
All right. I know it's going to be probably something in a humble bundle that I've never played before because I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker.
No, that's 50% of what I get as well. So right now we're rolling. We have random numbers being generated. Whenever you say stop, I will stop.
All right, let's go ahead and stop.
Phantom Breaker, Battlegrounds, Kasiru, Maki.
What the hell is this?
Level 99 pack.
Whoa. What?
I'm pretty sure this is DLC for Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds.
Okay.
It's a fighting game.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I can tell you the story as to why I own it too.
No.
It's a very sad story.
One
of my friends, it was during the summer sale this year, and one of my friends was like, hey, I have this game, and it's called Phantom Breaker, and it's really cool, and we should both get it, or you should get it and play co-op with me. And it was, I believe it was like $2.25 or something like that, and I was like, okay, $2 to play a game with my friend, and that's fine. And I buy it, I have no idea what I'm buying, and when we both get into the game, there's no co-op.
Huh.
So...
Wait, there's no co-op fighting?
No, there's no co-op at all. It's all single player. And then apparently something about there's going to be a patch later on that adds in co-op or something like that.
Wait,
And
so it's
we
a
just
fighting
never
game
got
that doesn't
around to
even
it.
have a versus mode?
I don't think it's so much a fighting game. I think it's more of like a sort of like a 2D brawler kind of game.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not exactly sure how to explain it, but it's kind of two-dimensional, flat, pixelated, go from screen to screen, sort of beating up the
Oh,
enemies.
so like the old X-Men game.
Yeah,
it's a
kinda
it's a beat 'em up,
like,
like Streets of
yeah,
Rage.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it is. But
Yeah,
sadly,
those
according
kind
to
of games
Steam,
like
I've only
thrive
got
on co-op.
yeah. So sadly, I've only got 8 minutes of frustration played on that one.
I'm looking there. I see less than an hour played on there. So
Yeah.
this is probably before the day and age of Steam refunds, I assume. So
Yeah.
Well, could you really refund a key?
no, you said you got it from the summer sale.
Oh,
Yeah, I got it from the summer sale, but it was only like $2.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's like 2 double cheeseburgers.
I can remember the same thing happened to me when Resident Evil 2 Revelations came out. Like DJ bought me a copy of that, and we were hoping to do online co-op, and then it turned out they had marketed the game for local co-op, and you just naturally assume, well, there must be online as well. There was for 5 and for 6, and then there wasn't. And
Yeah.
yeah,
That's exactly what happened. It's like it's got the local co-op, but no online mode. But it's coming. We just don't have a release date for it. So
Gotcha.
then I was angry with him, and I was like, let's just go play Castle Crashers or something.
There you go. So yeah, probably haven't beaten it. I'm guessing no desire to really get back to it either. Gotcha. Trey,
Yes.
you are up next. So once again, numbers are being generated.
Stop.
And, Pandora First Contact.
Oh, okay. That's actually a decent little game. I think. Gosh, let me go look up stuff on it so I can tell you with actual authority. It's a similar game to like Civilization. Yeah, it's a 4X game where you're landing on a alien planet, and it's very similar to Civilization 5, and came out around the same time as Beyond Earth, give or take a few months. And so when Beyond Earth came out and I was disappointed with that, I immediately bought Pandora First Contact. And it was pretty fun. It's not exactly fair, necessarily, but it is kind of more similar to what most people wanted. One of the biggest things about it is similar to Endless Legend. You're able to modify your units. And so the more technology that you end up researching, you'll get different parts for different units. You can have them have like tanks with rocket launchers or anti-aircraft guns and so on and so forth as you move on. And then it does have also like the alien life you have to deal with, and you may possibly be able to get them to help you out a little bit sometimes. But that depends on what technologies you take. The technology tree is more similar to Civilization 5 as well.
This sounds exactly like Beyond or Civilization Beyond Earth, or no, Civilization. What's it called? What's the name of the game?
Beyond Earth, yeah.
Is it actually called Beyond Earth? Okay. I think that's actually getting an expansion this year as well. This is by a developer called Proxy Studios, which I have never heard of before.
So would you say that Pandora is to Beyond Earth what City Skylines was to The Sims?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
actually a pretty good way to put it.
I'm looking at screens right now, and it looks exactly like, it looks like a 4X game. It looks like
It is.
Yeah, just it.
The hexagons.
The hexes, yeah, the hexes. They won't let me lie. That's cool. You've got I guess, let's see, about 6 or 7 hours into this right now.
Yeah.
Have you completed because I'm guessing it plays out like a Civ game. You complete a game.
I think I might have completed one short game, but not a lot of them. It's pretty good, but it's a little bit unbalanced at times.
Okay.
So I have a few problems with that. Possibly I just didn't play enough of it, though, in all honesty. Only 6 hours is a pretty short amount of time for being a 4X game, so might come back at some point.
Cool. Alrighty. And I believe it is now my turn. We're going to go ahead and let John be the special guest here and tell me when to go ahead and hit the lever and stop my rotation.
All right, let's stop now.
I need to... It landed on Resident Evil 5 again, which...
Reroll!
But yeah, the first show we did, DJ actually talked about. We have a Let's Play that we're never going to finish it with it. Tell me when to stop again. Let's see if we get it.
Renew.
All right, let's stop.
The Walking Dead Season 2. So I feel like everybody knows this game now. This is it's a Telltale game. It's a sequel to the wildly successful The Walking Dead, which is based on Kirkpatrick. Is that the name of the guy who wrote? I'm trying to remember who wrote Walking Dead. Kirk something. But it takes place after season 1. You're following Clementine, who is the small girl that you save in the first season, and you're meeting survivors out in the wasteland, and it turns out they're the real monsters besides the actual zombies themselves, and you're making really tough decisions that make your gut wrench and all that. And this is one of the few games that existed that have made me shed a few tears here and there. The first season of Walking Dead did that to me, and the second season did it with easily, in a really unfair way, and it just made me say, "Damn it!" And it gave me the feels, for lack of a better term. We've got a review actually up on the Pixel Loadout side. I'm pretty sure I gave it like a 9 or a 10 or something like that, really high up there. But it plays out like a choose-your-own adventure, like all Telltale games do. And I'm gonna say, like other Telltale games, some of the effect is a little bit diminished if you replay it, because you start to see where the illusionary, where the puppet strings are, for lack of a better term. When you're playing through your first time, you feel like your choices really matter and lead you off to a very interesting and unique place away from other people. But if you start making really wildly different choices, you're going to see how everything sort of has to round back out to the end, which is kind of a shame, but is also understandable with an episodic game of this scope. Walking Dead, though, I think plays really well with the episodic structure, because typically there's anywhere between a few weeks to a few months of time that will pass between episodes, very similar to how much time you were waiting between each episode, and they do a good job of recapping what happens between that. And this is in contrast to something like The Wolf Among Us, where it was such a tightly packed together story that you really wanted to play it all in one sitting. Walking Dead, though, really works with the episodic structure. I feel like everybody has played this, though, and you know, if you haven't, you totally should.
I hate those games.
I know you do.
I hate Telltale games.
I'm actually right there with you.
They make me so angry. Like, I went out on a limb and bought the first episode, actually the whole thing of the Game of Thrones one, and then when I had it like in my head for some reason, I'm thinking, cool, I'm gonna sit down and play this game through. It should be good. And then it was only the first episode because that was all that was out yet, but I paid for the whole thing, and that made me very angry all at once. And then it's kind of neat to have like an extension to the storyline that's going on with the TV show. That's neat, but not neat enough for the amount I paid for it.
I mean, but isn't that kind of your fault for not just buying the episode and having bought the entire season?
I mean, that I didn't see any other option at the time.
They usually let you buy individual episodes over the entire season.
You
get them at a discount. See, you're betraying your own mantra of don't buy things before they come out, Trey.
Yeah, I was going to say...
I thought the whole thing was out. I thought that's what I was getting. That was the problem.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, this is the time
that was
before...
part of the problem, I should say.
This is the time he got fooled, and now he'll never get fooled again.
I gotta stand there with you, though. I'm not a fan of Telltale either. Like, I understand, like, people who are fans of, like, Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead probably would enjoy these games, but I don't really see the whole hype for it. Like, so what else do they have? They have, Wolf Among Us.
Tales from the Borderlands is
right.
Minecraft.
And then the Minecraft thing.
So here's the kicker for me. I don't actually like the Walking Dead TV show at all, and I'm only, like, so-so on the comic book. I feel like this iteration of that is better than anything else that has been done with that franchise license. And I know I'm probably in the minority there because Walking Dead was so popular that it gets a terrible spin-off TV show that started right now. But I don't know. I I think that there are some quality writers there. I wish they would just stick with one project at a time, though, and as opposed to shuffling around how many projects they've got going at one time. But
Yeah.
Well, before this, what was it? David Cage.
oh, we're talking about like narrative and games here.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a very similar style of game. With Fahrenheit and like Indigo Prophecy and
Nah, man, Omicron, the Nomad Soul with a soundtrack by David Bowie. That's what I'm talking about.
and Heavy Rain, and like even Sony is now dipping into it. What with the teen slasher one
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn, and then StarCraft. Square Enix has one also that's made by I forget what it's called. Like this is how much I don't pay attention to these types of games.
I mean, in a lot of ways, it sort of reminds me of the visual novel style of a game, which is more of a Japanese thing that has not ever really made its way over to the States.
But this feels like it's hitting a certain kind of market. Like
Sure.
there are people there that are like there's a reason this genre exists.
It also is sort of does like what the Wii does. It capitalizes on these games don't take a lot of skill to play. Like we just put it out there. The hardest part about these games is making a decision when a timer is on and like trying to come up with a tough choice, or doing a quick time event section. Like Telltale games are not hard by any means. So you're getting a lot of people that would not traditionally consider them gamers, and with the crossover IP stuff, you're getting people to play these games. They're also on every damn platform. When I played the first season of Walking Dead, I played it on my phone.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of takes a while for them to come out on the mobile platforms, but yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I think they were in talks with having the Marvel license.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how that would play. The other thing I'll say about like Telltale games right now is that you can see a Telltale style of game from a mile away, and they have not aged that well. Like the artistry that is used in terms of putting together the scenes and stuff like that is very choppy and is showing its age. Action sequences do not go very well, but some games have a certain amount of style, usually very good soundtrack, good voice work, that kind of thing. So I'm enjoying Tales from the Borderlands right now myself.
Gameplay-wise, I just feel like there are parts in these Telltale games where you might miss something that was said, and you have no idea where to go.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll just be like walking around, maybe clicking things that you've already clicked, just because sometimes it's just not clear where you're supposed to go.
Yeah, but
I feel like that's more of the older games than the newer ones.
Yeah, even then, things tend to funnel you, and it's hard to screw yourself out of a situation like you would in a traditional adventure game, like Monkey Island or something. But yeah, that's what I got to say about that. I guess I'll stream a little bit of the first episode of that game. I haven't gone to it, and I'll have to reinstall it myself. So, but yeah, so that takes care of the RNG for this episode. Yep. And I think that we're going to be done for the show right now, unless anybody has any other things to throw in real quick.
Not off the top of my head.
Nah, I think I'm good.
Oh, there's a new League of Legends hero.
I haven't seen it. What is that?
It's Kindred. It's weird because when Kindred was coming out, people were assuming that it was going to be a multi-character hero, kind of like Vikings. And
didn't League say that we don't do that?
They said that they will never do that.
Okay.
And so what it actually is you have a main character. Kindred is two characters, lore-wise. It's Lamb and Wolf, and it's just the kit is like the kit is very much a single-person kit, but it is expressed through the visualizations of two characters.
Gotcha.
So
we'll see more about that once that character comes out. Interesting design from what I'm looking at. Real quick, I want to throw in promotion for the official UNCG Esports and Gaming Club, League of Legends Club. The title for that is all over the place sometimes. But they're doing meetings now, I believe, every Friday. I want to say this Friday they have...
Every other Friday.
Is it every other?
Every other.
Yeah.
But they have an the arcade crawl.
Yeah, that's not a club meeting. That's just an event.
Gotcha. They're going out to Lost Ark, though, this Friday to go play some arcade games. If you want to join them. Has there been a meeting place set up? Are they going to leave from the library, or does anybody know? Nobody knows.
So the library.
I'm not sure.
You can find out
Probably
more.
we were just meeting there, but
Yeah, well, that's a possibility as well. But yeah, you can look
How
up
is it an arcade crawl if there's only one place?
There's not enough arcades in Greensboro is the real problem.
I mean, there's mics, whatever, and
Like when I came up with this idea, it was you were going to crawl to the arcade. I know
like
that
on your knees.
pretty much, yes, exactly. So because you have to stand the entire time, so you want to make sure that you leave your legs in a preserved state when you get there. No, I don't know. Yeah, we wanted to thank the Lost Ark guys. They came out to the last meeting. They set up 2 Retrons and had prizes and stuff. John, did you try out any of the Retron stuff while they were set up?
I did not do it this meeting, but last year when the first meeting for the esports club, I actually did do it, and I'm trying to think of what challenge I did. I tried a couple of the Castlevania challenges and couldn't do it, and I can't remember what it was, but
Like I did the Castlevania challenge. I was managed like you need the axe pretty much.
yeah.
I remember Gutsman stage on Mega Man was there, and that thing is way harder than I remember it being.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, other stuff. For more news and articles related to the podcast, you need to go check out pixelloadout.blogspot.com. On YouTube, you can search Pixel Loadout or click the subscribe button below this stream right now if you're watching the stream itself. Or, like I said, you can search us on YouTube if you're listening to the archive. Audio-only version of the podcast can be found on iTunes as well as Stitcher. Just search Pixel Loadout. Our intro and outro music is done by Kevin McLeod. If you want to find more of his work, you can go to incompetech.com. Our executive producer is Mike Brothers. And then finally, if you want to get in contact with us, share your questions, comments, concerns, email us at pixelloadout@gmail.com. That's all one word. There was some other stuff. We got a Twitter up and going right now. Right, Miguel?
Yep, that Pixel Loadout.
Cool. And that should be announcing when we do episodes as well as other fun stuff that we might find. So you should go subscribe to that at Pixel Loadout. I think we have a Tumblr as well, though I need to do some more job of managing that.
Tumblr's dumb.
Yeah. It's true. It's full of dumb stuff. But that's all I got. So for Pixel Loadout, I'm Kevin Harrison.
I'm Trey Fuqua.
I'm Miguel Torres.
I'm Jonathan Mills.
And we'll see you next time.
Good night, everybody.